Welcome, cartel members, Anons, Facebook friends, Instagram followers, random YouTube viewer, you know the drill. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining me. My name is Julio Jaques and I am the Theorizing Theorist. Now today we're going to be talking about King Trump on March 4th or 14th or whatever day it is. They're going to go over it here in a minute. Now I got to warn everybody, the ending of this video is going to have a 4-minute video of anti-Trumper or anti-QAnoner, I guess you could say, that's going to go over thoroughly or somewhat thoroughly or well enough, I should say, of the whole situation, I guess, in regards to Trump coming back into power. Now, it's a video that I found that I thought that was interesting because the naysayer was presenting the evidence, and then when he got to the point where he was gonna debunk it, he kind of got very vague. So I want you guys to pay attention to that. It's funny how people can see the truth right in front of them and still believe that it's not the truth. And I don't know what else to say, so watch for that at the end. And then also we got Lynn Wood's interview on Telegram, the full thing. Check that out. It kind of leads to my belief that Biden isn't in power, and right now maybe the military is in power. It isn't Trump, it isn't Biden, because if you notice, they always talk about within the first 100 days they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Now all these executive orders that were signed, how many of them are really being fulfilled and filled, and is it not just all hoopla? Now where's our stimulus? How come it seems like they're waiting for March 14th to get shit rolling? Same with our taxes. I wouldn't be surprised, I'm expecting my taxes now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't come until after March 14th, because maybe behind the scenes something is happening. Maybe they're still going through the proceedings of the, in the Supreme Court privately, and to show that we're still kind of a united nation, the United States, we're intact. To the rest of the world, we're putting on this facade of Biden being the president and Trump, going to the winter White House. But I don't know how they would pull it off. How would they just all of a sudden switch and be like, okay, guess what, guys? Trump is the president. So my thinking is that Trump would just take over by, he would start delegating to Biden. Let's just put it that way. He would be the president unofficially, but officially. And I don't know how that would work. Please comment below your guys' thoughts and opinions, especially at the end of this video. Please watch the entire thing. I know the ending is going to be a little tough because the person is kind of a naysayer of QAnon. Not kind of, he is, but he, like I said, goes over, he tries to debunk the whole March 4th thing, and he does a good job in showing some of the evidence. But like I said, he ends with why do QAnoners really believe this stuff? And then he goes off of what Trump says about the war not being over, or is it just beginning, or something like that. And that's pretty vague. I don't think that's what we're all going off of. So please, if you know what we're all going off of, comment below, let us all know. Please check the comments below, like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, guys. Please help me out and donate if you can. It's the only way I can keep this channel up and running. I'm running on low energy, low funds, low everything, guys. And I hate to ask you guys over and over again, but it's the only way I will get the proper donations and support that I need to keep this channel up and running and bringing you the informative alternative news and, giving you a little bit of myself in the process. So please, guys, like I said, check the description below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Make sure your bell is rung, and make sure you are sharing this out far and wide and hitting the like button. And as always, you know the routine. To God be the glory.
A fine man who is a whistleblower. And I've taken a lot of flack because of what the whistleblower's evidence is, in terms of what it speaks to with respect to Chief Justice John Roberts, what it speaks to with respect to Hillary Clinton, what it speaks to with respect to Rod Rosenstein, and what it speaks to with respect to former Vice President Pence. Now, I don't make the accusations, but I have come to know this gentleman. He's credible. I think if you sat across from the table from him, you feel the same way. And one day, now that the state bar has filed this foolish lawsuit against me, I may bring him down and let him testify live, and people will see. And then they can determine for themselves whether this whistleblower is telling the truth, and they'll investigate Roberts and Pence and Clinton and Rosenstein, and then we'll know the truth. Either they're guilty or they're not, but we need to know. And his testimony is credible to me. I've seen where he gave interviews 2 years ago. He was credible then. He's consistent. So I believe him, and I think the public has a right to know. And I turned that tape of the interview over to the United States Secret Service. So I put it in the hands of law enforcement. There's an obligation on somebody's part to investigate the whistleblower's evidence, because if it is true, and I find him credible, then we've got some significant problems in the highest court in this country with the Chief Justice.
Do you have any confidence anyone is doing anything with that evidence yet?
I believe there's a lot going on in this country that we're not seeing or hearing right now.
So you're hopeful?
I have faith in Donald Trump. I have faith in the United States military, and more important, I have faith in God, and I believe that just what we read in the Bible, every lie will be revealed. So I got a lot of hope.
I wonder if old Lynn is talking about Cappy. But I guess we'll find out one day.
Well, listen, I'd like to see them spread the word about what the State Bar of Georgia is doing. They've done it. I believe sometimes the devil acts, and he ends up, you find God turns it into a blessing in disguise. This silly complaint of 1,600 or 1,700 pages that they filed against me, they put in every lawsuit that Sidney Powell's filed and the two that I filed. So now you got one nice little bundle that tells the people that read what the truth is, because the lawsuit complaints are chock full of the evidence of the fraud that the courts so far have not reviewed. That's another story for another day, why these courts have consistently not reviewed the fraud evidence, but yet the media turns around and says, oh, there's no fraud because the courts didn't find any. The courts have never looked at it. So State Bar of Georgia's, clearly to me, I've looked at the people on the disciplinary committee. This is a anti-Trump group. I've read where State Bar grievance committees in various places in the country have been weaponized to use against Trump supporters. So, am I surprised? No. I got a lot of concerns about the state of the legal profession. I have had them for years, and I think the legal profession has lost its integrity. We don't have any Atticus Finches anymore, and we need a lot of them.
So who will adjudicate this then? How does this play out? Hopefully.
I have to tell you, I've never had a disciplinary action brought against me in 43 years, so I don't really know the procedure. I'll retain counsel, and they'll walk me through the process. But look, it's a simple situation. What they're saying is a lie, and they're distorting the truth, and that's a lie. It's an agenda. I think they're tied into Governor Kemp. I think they're tied into members of the judiciary in this state. I think that Georgia, sadly, is one of the most, if not the most, corrupt states in this country. And I've been peeling the layers of the onion off, and they don't like it. I was also involved in potentially releasing videotapes of Jeffrey Epstein when I released the password for Isaac Cappy.
Yes.
CIA's not real happy with me, neither are the globalists and the deep state. So this could all be part and parcel of a way where we can't kill Wood because that'd be too obvious. So maybe we'll just try to destroy him. Well, bring it on. They're not going to destroy me because truth's going to prevail over the lie. I have no fear.
You saw Mike Lindell's piece.
Love Mike Lindell.
Come out this week. Very powerful. People say, now what? Who will adjudicate that? Where does this go? Who's going to hear this evidence?
I've said from the almost very beginning of this disputed election that was stolen, or they attempted to steal it. I don't think they've stolen it. I think Joe Biden's presidency was a fraud. It's a fake. I'm not sure where his White House is. I'm not sure it's in Washington, D.C. We'll see. But I said from the very beginning when they said, will the courts decide this? Will the legislatures decide this? I said, you know what? We the people will decide this. We the people have all the power given to us by Almighty God. And I'd like to see people take the Mike Lindell's documentary and there's some others, one called Unmasked. I'd send those to people that are looking at you, your friends, saying, oh no, this was Biden's win, there was no fraud. Put the truth in front of them. Adjudicate it in effect by spreading it around to we the people. The more people that recognize the truth about the election fraud, which was massive, the easier it's going to be for this country when at some point in the near future somebody else tells them that they have the evidence that it was a fraudulent election. I suspect we're going to hear that soon.
What do you mean by that?
I believe the United States military knows exactly what happened in this case. I don't think that they fooled anybody. I think there was a reason President Trump executed the executive order in September of 2018 to deal with foreign interference in our national election. I think they knew the playbook. I think they caught them red-handed, and now it's just a matter of time because they have a plan. It's just a matter of time. Now, nobody's told me that as a matter of fact, but I connect some dots and I try to use the common sense that God gave me. And what you can see in this country right now doesn't make sense. So you try to make sense out of it, and you believe that the United States military, sworn to defend the Constitution and protect the people, they're doing their job. So trust them, have faith, don't lose hope, okay? Well, listen, God is hope. Your past life is a testimony, and your future is hope. So if you give up hope, in effect, you're giving up on God. Don't give up on God. Don't lose hope. And in the real world, don't give up on Trump. Trump's going to trump them all.
Thanks for watching. A lot of us have heard the date of March 4th being talked about on social media quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, and that's because our friends in QAnon are promoting it as the actual day that Trump will return to power. QAnon, of course, manages to encompass a wide variety of conspiracy theories, each one seemingly more convoluted than the one that came before. Just about all of them portray Trump as a hero, a brave and righteous warrior fighting against an evil deep state. In fact, their opinion of Trump is second only to Trump's opinion of Trump. The March 4th date itself was a rather minor theory within QAnon in the weeks following Trump's loss in the November election. It was initially overshadowed by QAnon followers focusing in on what they believed to be a stolen election, which they were convinced would result in Trump invoking the Insurrection Act or declaring martial law. However, the interest around March 4th date recently spiked after it was revealed that prices to rent a room on that day at the Trump International Hotel in D.C. had skyrocketed to $1,331 a night, or more than double the normal $596 price for a guest room for most of the month. Of course, the Trump International Hotel in D.C. is no stranger to raising its prices on dates that are significant to Trump supporters. On January 6th, the date of Trump's rally in D.C., and the day of the Capitol attack in which QAnon supporters played a big part, it cost $8,000 to rent a room that night. The latest prediction from QAnon is apparently based on the beliefs of the sovereign citizen movement. You may remember them as the people who believe they do not have to pay any taxes or follow any federal laws, and who inevitably end up in trouble because of that. This belief of sovereign citizens is based on two things. First, that a law passed in 1871 secretly turned the U.S. into a corporation. Thus, every president after Ulysses S. Grant, who was president in 1871, is illegitimate. Secondly, they are also convinced that the U.S. has been run by a group of shadow investors since 1933, when FDR ended the gold standard. The date of the presidential inaugurations was also changed from March 4th to January 20th in 1933 via the 20th Amendment. Combining those two things, the latest QAnon theory is that March 4th, 2021 is the start of the new republic, since March 4th was the start date of any presidential term up until it was changed in 1933. And because Ulysses S. Grant, the 18th president, was the last legitimate president of the United States, Trump will assume power as the 19th president of the United States on March 4th, 2021. Why do they all believe this? Because at the end of his January 7th speech, Trump said, "Our incredible journey is only just beginning." QAnon latched onto that statement as yet another reason for their followers to remain hopeful. The millions of people who follow QAnon desperately want to believe that the military and the so-called Q team have everything under control. But will anything actually happen on March 4th? Of the thousands and thousands of Q drops over the past 3 years, not one has actually come true. Many, though, are just vague enough that they can be explained away as having been fulfilled in secret, or that things have been delayed out of necessity. The March 4th prophecy, of course, seems a bit too specific to explain away if it ends up not happening. Thus, the reality of that day passing without Trump regaining power may be too much for some QAnon followers to accept, and they will wake up and leave the Q cult. That's good news, of course, except those that remain will, unfortunately, be the hardcore believers who will dig even deeper down into those rabbit holes. However, just because Trump himself will not regain power on March 4th, that doesn't mean that nothing will happen. If January 6th has taught us anything, it's that many Trump supporters, and especially those who follow QAnon, will do almost anything in support of Trump. In fact, many of those who took part in the attack on the Capitol have stated that they only went to DC because Trump asked them to. I see the online rhetoric reaching a fever pitch in the days leading up to March 4th, and we can only pray that no violence or loss of life happens as a result of the fanaticism of those who follow QAnon. The bottom line is that Antichrist Trump will at some point regain all the power he so desperately craves. But there's simply no reason to believe that will happen on March 4th, as this theory, like so many other QAnon theories, is not based on reality. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and if you care to leave a comment, please do. Take care.
So those are his thoughts. Now, I want to present another theory I've been kind of pondering or wondering. Now, what would a presidency look like under Trump at the helm, but with Biden as the face, I guess you could say? What would that look like? You know, start looking maybe for Biden to start doing things that are very Trump-esque, let's just say. Not in his demeanor, but in the things actually getting passed, and the laws and the bills and the things getting done. Is this the ultimate way to draw out the enemy? They think that Biden is in power fully, and so now all the rats come out to feast, and they find, Trump actually still is in power with the military and with other things. Who knows? Who knows what's really going on? Maybe the United States in that aspect has been fractured, and now there's two powers, and we just don't understand it in our end. But when it comes to the superpowers and you know, like the top elite powerful people, they all know that Trump is the one that can drop a drone on their ass or drop a nuke on their ass at any moment. Who knows? Let me know, I guess. You know, like, this is a theory that I'm kind of playing with, that, you know, some people thought that Obama was running a shadow presidency. What if Trump runs a shadow presidency, and it's gonna, it would be a lot more effective, let's just say, or a lot more powerful. He has the nuclear football. Who knows if that's still active or not? I don't know how it works. Do you? I don't think many people do. The Air Force One, I see a lot of pictures and videos that Trump's still in possession of that, and he still has lots and lots of Secret Service, which is common, but how many is a little uncommon, right? So, like I said, I even predicted that Antifa and Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter and Proud Boys and MAGA and all the QAnons would unite against Biden because they would have a common enemy. You get what I'm saying? The Biden fans would turn on Biden because he would be doing Trump-esque things, and all the people on the right simply would hate Biden blindly, just like they hated Trump blindly. You get what I'm saying? It's all tribal. So these are just theories, like I said, that I have, and I'm really curious as your guys' opinion of a shadow presidency by Trump and what it would look like and how it would possibly function, because I just, like I said, don't understand how March 4th they would come out to the world and be like, we decided that it was stolen from Trump and we're gonna go ahead and give it to Trump. So from this day, I mean, how would they pull that off? That would be just, I don't know. So for me, I think March 4th is kind of like the deadline for Q. After that, they would really have to start. And if you're listening to me, QAnon, and this is all a LARP, you would really have to start playing into the aspect of Trump running a shadow presidency behind Biden. Because at the end of the day, these presidents, they all do basically the same thing. If you look at what Trump did, I hate to break it to you guys, but he didn't build no wall. And he didn't deport millions and millions of people, and he did a lot of things that you guys wouldn't approve of, and you guys even were vocal about a lot of the things, especially when it comes to gun control. Now Biden's going to be doing a lot of the same things, but then also in regards, you know, to Trump-esque stuff, Republican right-leaning stuff. It's kind of how it works. You have your base and you want to try to steal people that are independent and a little bit right-leaning or opposite-leaning of your base, right? That's how you win. So look forward to Biden doing things that are, you know, going to be Republican approved, let's just say. So drop me your opinions. Let me know. Trump 2020 still seems to be in full effect. Go King Trump, and you know the routine. As always, to God be the glory.